Welcome to Leadership Trails. This is episode number 8. It's about the trap in the ballroom and how staying calm turned an ambush into a victory. Imagine sitting in a ballroom filled with more than 50 senior managers, country HR, other leaders, vice president, and executives. Then the company president unexpectedly walks in. Everyone stands, the room becomes silent, and before anyone understands why he is there, an older vice president, whom I have never met before, rises from the opposite side of the room or the ballroom, points directly at me, and begins attacking my credibility. That is exactly what happened to me during my first year at a large international company. This is Dr. Mark Shami. I welcome you to Leadership Trails. I'm a managing director and professor at the University of California. Over the past 25 years, I have worked and supported several large mega projects successfully and trained thousands of managers and engineers around the world. So let's hit the trail. But on that day, I was not standing in front of a classroom. I was sitting inside a carefully prepared trap. So let me tell you what happened then. The accusation from that senior vice president, when the meeting was being held in a ballroom of a five-star hotel, about 50 participants were seated around the U-shaped arrangement. Suddenly, the company president and one of the most senior executives entered without warning. Everyone stood, greeted them, and quietly wondered, why are they there? Before we could find out, a short, white-haired vice president stood up at the far end of the room. He pointed his finger across the entire ballroom directly at me. Dr. Mark, he said, you were only hired this year, yet you are deciding the future of the training of this big company. Then came the second accusation. You have a PhD, you are theoretical. This is a hands-on brick and mortar company. How could you do that? Your programs are too academic, too theoretical. How can you understand what the company really needs? I have never met this man before, yet he spoke as though he had completed a 10-year investigation into my career. Everyone turned towards me. One manager who knew my work raised her hand and tried to talk, and the president stopped her, said, no. He looked directly at me and said, Dr. Mark, I want you to answer. At that moment, I understood what was happening. This was not a spontaneous question. It was an ambush, okay? So let me tell you how I refused to take the bait. Someone behind the scenes had opposed my appointment as Director of Training and Development. The strategy was simple. Attack me publicly, provoke me emotionally, and make me look defensive or unqualified in front of the president. They expected me to become angry, okay? They expected me to argue. They expected me to fall into the trap. So I did the one thing they had not planned for, all right? I remained completely calm. One important fact they never put in their plan was the fact that I have lots of guts and experience in standing before a crowd, and I can do great public speech, impromptu, and I can improvise. I did not respond from my chair when this happened. I did not raise my voice. I did not panic, although for a brief moment, I probably had enough pointing fingers in the room to conduct an orchestra. I slowly stood up, walked to my laptop, opened it, and projected my work schedule into the screen. Then I turned to the man and said, before I respond, may I ask your name and your position? We have never met before. How could you point your finger at me? He became irritated. He announced and he said, I'm the vice president of this important company. And I told him, thank you very much. Then I began addressing the accusation, one by one, with all confidence. You said that I am deciding the future of the training in this company. I told him, this is correct. The room became very quiet because I was confronting him. This is exactly why the company hired me. My responsibility is to understand the organization, strengthen its training system, and help determine the future direction. Yes. Then I addressed the second accusation. You said that I'm theoretical because I have a PhD. This is correct. However, I have extensive industry experience in addition to my academic background. I displayed the programs on the board I had directly developed with all the activities underway. I explained that I was collaborating directly with senior experts across estimation, planning, cost control, engineering, and other operations and project management. So I'm not working alone, I'm working in collaboration with others. I even showed the names of the experienced professionals involved. I do not design these programs in isolation, I said. I work with the people who understand the work firsthand. My role is to ensure that our training is relevant, practical, and second to none. I'm the maestro and the catalyst as well. The president looked at the vice president and said, in effect, everything Dr. Mark is saying makes sense. He is working with the right people, and I don't understand your criticism to him in front of everybody. The trap had collapsed. The president stood up and left the ballroom. The vice president, who had attacked me, immediately hurried after him, apparently trying to explain how his carefully planned mission had reversed direction. Meanwhile, the senior manager, who had arranged the entire situation, sat silently, looking deeply uncomfortable, which I knew. No one else knew he had organized the ambush, but I knew, and I knew it very well. So let me tell you here about the leadership lesson. That day, I learned an important leadership lesson. When someone creates a public confrontation, the real objective may not be to discover the truth. The objective may be to control your reaction. They may want you to become angry. Of course, they will. They want you to become emotional, defensive, and impulsive. Because once you lose control of yourself, they gain control of the situation. Do not give them that power. Stand calmly and ask for facts. Stand calmly and ask for facts. Clarify who is speaking and what exactly is being alleged. Then answer each issue with evidence, confidence, and respect. Confidence does not mean shouting louder. Confidence means knowing that the truth does not need panic to defend it. I did not win that confrontation by attacking the one person. I won by refusing to become the person they expected me to become. The incident that was designed to weaken my position ultimately strengthened it. This experience closely reflects the principles in Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High by Kerry Patterson and his colleagues. The authors explain that when the stakes are high, opinions differ and emotions intensify. Effective leaders resist the impulse to become defensive or aggressive. Instead, they remain composed, establish the facts, and guide the exchange back and towards productive dialogue. The ballroom ambush taught me the same lesson. You cannot always control the confrontation, but you can control your response. And that response may determine whether the moment damages your credibility or strengthens it. So, when someone tries to pull you into a trap, remember, do not react to the emotion. Respond to the fact. Do not fight the person, address the issue, and never allow another person's aggressions to decide your behavior. Sometimes, the most powerful way to turn the tables is simply to remain standing when everyone expects you to fall. If you find the story relevant, or perhaps you witness a similar one, please put your thoughts in the comment. Kindly subscribe to my channel so you can get the latest episodes from Leadership Trails firsthand. This is Dr. Mark Shami, and this has been another story from Leadership Trails. Take care. Goodbye.